now, and then.
Yeah, Mark Sokolowski. I'm Associate Director for Member Services with Scouts Canada.
Awesome, and everybody knows Brian Meir. We meet with him regularly, and Brian Smith, our program guy.
That's right, program support manager at your service.
Okay, so we
nice
will
to meet you, Brian Smith.
Thanks, Jeff. It's been a while, buddy.
It has been a while.
Awesome. So I'm going to share a presentation. James, who usually runs our show, is off today. His stepdaughter got married on the weekend, so I think he's off still partying somewhere. So if you have any questions along the way, feel free to raise your hand or just unmute and call out, and hopefully we can answer your questions or find the people that can. So welcome everybody to our group commissioner call today. To start off with our safety moment, our goal is to keep Scouters active. So that is your role for your current Scouters. So being proactive on Respect in Sports, PRC, and Wood Badge 1. So going through, at the start of the season, which we're in, and then periodically through to, check on which Scouters have Respect in Sports, coming up, or PRC, and kind of getting on them to get that done before it expires. If one of those expires and they haven't renewed it, then unfortunately they have to be removed from the floor because they would be moved into a pending status. So it's really important that we keep track of those that are coming to needing that training done and then getting them to do it proactively. And then for your new Scouters from last year, have they started their Wood Badge 1 and how are they doing with that? And as always, use protection. So any concerns can be brought to Safe Scouting. The emergency line is open 24/7, and that is the phone number there. And any general inquiries can be sent to Safe Scouting or using the app. And at times, you might not be sure if something is, a Safe Scouting concept or idea. If you're not sure, report it and let them talk you through it in the end. This is their job. They're not going to come in and act harshly if it's not needed. So if you have questions, comments, or concerns, reach out to them. The team there is great at working with Scouters to find constructive conclusions to all issues. So looking at our Scouts Canada membership health, we currently have 32,034 youth members registered across Canada. Last year at this time we had 41, but from last month, we've seen over 4,000 new registrants, which is awesome. Our growth percentage at this time is down 23%. Last month was 34, so we've seen an 11% improvement, which is awesome. And our youth retention is only at 48% across the country, with our goal of being 65%. So if we look just at battlefields, our youth membership is currently at 1,162, which from last month is an improvement of 366. Our growth percentage is at 31, which is an improvement of 9% from the last month. And our youth retention is at 44%, with our target being 65. So to increase that number, for the most part, it's getting the youth that you currently have to register to continue in January. And I know that a lot of people are hesitant to register early, or whatever the case may be, but it's our role to encourage them to register now to maintain their spot in the group come January. And encouraging them to do it sooner rather than later also eliminates, you know, having to dish out the membership fee right at Christmas time and things like that, right? So if parents are a little hesitant to join early, you know, kind of showing them that aspect of it, that if you wait, it's going to happen at Christmas, and that's probably not ideal for most. So if we look at our council-supported groups, 97% of our scouters are meeting our screening requirements, which is awesome because that is above our target of 95%. So good job on all of you for being on top of your new scouters and your current scouters for being active and being able to be on the floor. So thank you. Our colony and packs at their section capacity is 1,004 with our target of 1,189. And we understand that, you know, just because you can have, you know, 40 youth in your group because you have that many leaders on My Scouts doesn't always mean that that is feasible, right? Some leaders are part-time, some meeting halls aren't adequate to meet the needs of a larger group. So we take that into consideration when we're looking at our numbers.
There's also the fact that running a section of 40 youth is quite chaotic at the best of times.
Yes, I think I had 30 Girl Guides one year, so that's like cub-aged kids, and that was, you know, enough. And I'm also a teacher, so, you know.
Yeah, I've had colony pack and troop all pushing 40 at different times, and yeah, they're all crazy.
Yeah. And it at times, like, you want a good number of kids, but sometimes when you have too many, you're doing too much management of them and not enough fun. But
so now we're talking about the next call for the BFC Scouter Club, which will be Sunday, November 5th at 7:30 p.m. It's a Microsoft Teams meeting. The meeting ID is there with the passcode. You'll probably get an email with all that stuff. And we were just wondering if anybody had any topics that anyone would like to have covered.
so at this time, is there anything that your scouters are interested in learning more about, or you guys, that we could bring in some subject matter experts to assist with? And if you don't have that answer now, it can always be sent in an email.
Now I'm actually going to send it over to Brian Smith so that he can talk about his program support section.
All right, thank you very much. So just a few slides I've got here, and hopefully everybody can hear me because, like I said, my computer just died and I'm on the spare one, which is a really slow one. But anyway, just some Scouter development days that are coming up in surrounding areas and in battlefields. So on November 4th, we have a Scouter Skills Day at Blue Springs that is taking place. It's a day-long event. We're also doing a Camping 101 Fall Experience at Camp Pessa on the 18th and 19th of November. It's a day-long skills workshop, but it's also got an overnight component in it for camping. And we are going to be looking at doing some Wood Badge 2 training as well. So for those who are looking at doing some of the components for the Wood Badge 2, we're going to have some of that introduced as well. So unfortunately, the Scouter Development Day we had at Camp Wetaskiwin had to be canceled. There's actually the Indigenous deer culling is happening that week before and after the camp at the provincial park. So for safety reasons, decided that would be best to postpone that till the spring, and the date for that will be determined later. But it will be at some point down this spring down at Wetaskiwin because I still want to do a program down there. So that's some of the ones that are coming up for our Scouter Development Days for this year. This week, still time to sign up for a Scouter Mug Up for October. We're doing 2 different days. We're doing Wednesday and we're doing Thursday this week. And what it is we are covering what it is to be a support scouter. So working with those who are going through Wood Badge 1, going through those especially for Wood Badge 2, and need those mentors and support scouters to help them along their journey. This is a chance to learn all about that. What is in that role? How do you do it? Tips and tricks and that sort of thing. So these are for scouters across Canada. So we'll be doing 4 different times. We have on the 18th at 7 o'clock, and again at 10 o'clock, which is the 8 o'clock Mountain Time. And then on Thursday the 19th, we have 7 o'clock again Eastern Time, and 10 o'clock Eastern Time or 8 o'clock Mountain Time. So those are the 4 different times this week that we're going to be doing our Scouter Mug-Ups. We do plan on doing Scouter Mug-Ups each month. So there'll be another set coming out for November. Probably on that one, we'll be talking about our winter challenge that's coming up in February. There will be a winter challenge coming up, but that's all I can tell you at this point. We will be a 4 to 6 week program coming up, but we'll have more details on that probably, hopefully next month for everybody. So some save the dates that are coming up. Oh, that was quick. Oh, there we're back again. January 6th in Tri-Shores, we're going to be doing a winter-focused development day. Most likely that will be at Camp Bryson here in London. And then in Battlefields, we have a couple Scouter development days, one on the 20th of January and another one on the 10th of February. And that will be still to be determined where we'll be holding those at what camp. But the Scout Con on April 13th, we will actually be doing it at Camp Nemo, and we're going to be doing a combination summit and a property summit and Scouter Development Day with the Scout Con all rolled into one. So, sorry, Amanda, I know that we were looking at it past at one point, but we're going to increase the numbers or increase the size. So we're going to be doing it at Nemo on the 13th. So that's just a day-long event, and more information will be coming out on the Scout Con, but April 13th, save that date on a Saturday. And our next thing is one of the things we're focusing on as a program support team is our in-section support. And in-section support can be virtually or it can be in person. We can do both. So what we do in essence, as the slide says, we parachute in. So what are we doing? We're doing scouting essentials. So we're talking to our colony, our pack, and our troop scouters and showing them basically starting back from scratch for those who need the help, need the concerns, starting back with how to run a meeting, patrol systems, the plan to review, the youth-led adventures and spices. These sessions are basically it's one 3-hour session, or we can divide it into 3 1-hour sessions. For scouting essentials. And in addition to our essentials, we also have a catalog of additional trainings that level up our scouters to do some awesome adventures with the youth. Things like family engagement, supporting youth with diverse needs, understanding the Scouter development map, safety and paperwork, effective use of small teams, game storming and saga adventures, games, funding and budgeting your adventures, and resources, and and how to find them through My Scouts and Google. And then, of course, we'll be doing our practical outdoor adventure skills with our Scout development days. But the in-section support is something that we're really gearing ourselves towards. So if you have any of your groups, any of the sections that are struggling in any of the areas, maybe they don't know what a patrol is, or they haven't used the patrol system. They're not on the Canadian path, or think they're not on the Canadian path and like to get on the Canadian path and be more on the Canadian path. Maybe it's youth-led. They just scouters do all the work and the youth do nothing. We can come in and we can give, like I said, the scouters a helping hand up, some skills, some tips and tricks, and get them so they have some awesome adventures with the youth. So that's our in-section support that we're going to be focusing on over the next year. So, and like I said, that can be in person or that can be virtual. So that's me. Thank you very much.
Any questions for Brian? So yeah, like he said, if you guys know of a section that needs help, just send him an email and then you can take it away.
Is the one at Camp Pessa for adults only?
It's for adults or any youth over the age of 14 and up. Because at 14 they can be scouters. So these are scouter development. So it's not, I mean, I don't mind having like the senior scouts and ventures there, as long as they're going to use that towards a leadership role. I don't want it to be, you know, another troop meeting sort of thing, or a troop camp. But if they're in a leadership role, for sure, by all means, this is what we want, and we want the youth there as well. I mean, I love having youth there, and especially when they're learning and if you know of any youth, by the way, of who have some talent in outdoor skills, let me know, because I love having youth doing some of the facilitation on some of these sessions. So.
So now it's just a reminder of some of the upcoming events. So the next group commissioner orientation is over October 27th to October 30th. The first Scouter Development Day, which was postponed from October 28th, the date is still to be determined. And the second Scouter Development Day, which is November 18th at Camp Impesa. So now I'm going to turn it over to Mark, and he's going to talk about his section.
Excellent, thank you, Michael. Yeah, so I'm from Member Services, so my team runs everything behind the Help Center, everything to do with registration questions, provide registration support for my scouts. So I was asked to come here just to answer any questions that you guys had about my scouts and the registration system.
So this is open question time. So we've heard a lot of feedback with scouters that have had issues, this current year. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, this is your chance to ask the expert.
If I may.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Jane.
It was an email that one of my scouters received. His daughter just turned 13, and the email says, "Welcome, Scouter Jade." Why would she get this kind of an email? She does a great job in leadership. She's my troop leader, but I don't know why she's getting emails like that. He doesn't know what he's supposed to do with it.
Is it like, apart from saying welcome, Scouter Jay, what is it like? What is the email about specifically?
Okay, let me see if I can find it on my phone, because he did send it to me. If somebody else has a question, they can go ahead while I'm searching. Happy Friday, Scouter Jade. What are the PRC requirements for scouters? That's what came up. Thank you to our volunteers. So it's one of those. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know. Can you see that?
Oh, so that's
No,
our bi-weekly email.
But she's 13. So why is she getting it? That's why they don't know.
Is the parent also a scouter?
He is.
So then she would potentially be getting that because the parent's email is her email. So like typically when a youth is registered, they're registered under their parent's email.
Okay.
So
But none of my other youth got it.
Yeah.
Does she have any other roles?
No. Like she helped
Same.
organize our youth leadership training last year, and she's a troop leader. And she's running our camp this weekend.
But she's not listed, like her only scouting role in My Scouts would be troop
As-
participant.
As far as I know, yes. I was just
Great.
trying to go and search my Scouts when this came up.
Because yeah, that list for that email is generated by running a report in My Scouts. So James would have run a report for all active scouters. And then, you know, he puts that into the system and it sends the email out.
Hmm.
Did her parent that's a scouter also get the email or just her?
As far as I know, just her. He didn't say. I can't call him now because he's
Yeah.
just finishing up a cub meeting.
So I'm thinking that it must be something like that, that the way that they are in the system under that email, it was a glitch running the report.
Okay.
That's all I got on that, but
Okay.
I know that we've had, you know, a lot of new scouters register, so it's actually on my docket to get James to run a new report to update our list, because, you know, we don't run the report weekly, but we do have new scouters coming in.
Well, I just finally got my last one. His back check came through, so he's now active.
Wonderful. Jennifer.
Yeah. So we have some youth that are not returning. We know they're not going to return. They haven't returned yet. We've confirmed with the parent that they're not returning, but they're still taking up space in our caps. Can we remove them? Can we ask for them to be removed? Can the parents go in and choose to, I don't know, decline? Like, it'd be nice if there was a way for us to not have them on our roster.
So yeah, you can submit a request to registration at scouts.ca to have those youth removed. Especially if you have an email or text confirmation from the parent that says, yeah, go ahead, we're not coming back. I include that just so we have the parental consent to go ahead and remove the role, and we'll be more than happy to take care of that.
Okay. Thank
But
you.
those you're welcome. Those youth are only counting towards your 2023 cap, so they won't be on the roster for next year.
But if they have space then to allow those youth to join now versus later, and then that would be useful.
Yeah.
I actually have one question in regards to youth who turn 18, because currently they have to go and do all the same registration as we do. Is there a grace period for them to get that completed so that they don't go pending and they can still participate? Or is it like they turned 18 and because I have had issues in the past where youth have received notice within weeks of them turning 18 to say, hey, you're now pending, you need to get this done.
I mean, generally, like, because talking about that small subset of venturers who are, they're still 17 and they turn 18 while they're still a venturer. They are allowed to finish out the year. And I mean, when you think about it, are they suddenly a safety risk when they're 17 and 364 days versus now officially 18 years old? There's no real difference of a risk. There is, like, we do kind of allow a little bit of a grace period. I mean, the My Scouts will push them to pending, but as long as that youth is going out and, they said, yeah, I'm going through the process of getting my PRC and isn't just saying, no, I'm not going to go and do it, then that they're generally okay to go ahead and participate.
Okay, thank you. My main concern is if they decide to go to a moot, which requires the section to submit all their forms, and someone is really zealous and goes and checks everybody's profiles and turns around and says, oh, this youth is pending, and they can't attend our moot.
Yeah, I mean, in cases like that where it's, if you've got one-off exceptions like that, we can have those escalated to make sure we're in contact with the people who are organizing it to provide an exception or clearance from safe scouting.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
And most camps should only require that they show their signed AAF from the group commissioner with the youth listed and leaders. That is the only requirement. I know I've been to some camps in the past, and people have wanted like your kidney to come in, but like
Yeah, tell that to the camp organizers I've been to with troop that require health forms that clearly say for non-members.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to print the form, the paperwork that comes out of my scouts, and I'll give that to you.
Yes, I completely hear you, and I've definitely been there. So, but they should only require to see your AAF that has been signed by the group commissioner, because you are the one that would verify that your participants and your leaders are active and able to be there. So, Jennifer, your hand is still up. Do you have another question, or just not a lowered hand?
Just not a lowered hand.
Okay.
Sorry.
Just
I was
wanted
trying
to
to-
make sure.
I don't know how to lower it. It usually just goes off, but
I think maybe if you click the button again, it might lower it for you, but there you go. Any other questions for Mark? Well, I guess this was an easy one for you, Mark.
So just a reminder that our next GC call is Monday, November 20th. That'll be the one in the afternoon at 12:30 and the one now at 8 o'clock. And our focus for that day will be volunteer readiness. And so just an open question for everybody here. With that focus in mind, what topic might you want to be covered?
So again, this is just something for group commissioners, not everybody. So if there's something specific that as a group commissioner, you need more training on or more focus on, that's what we're looking for. Jeff?
A little primer in any job aids that can help us get through my scouts a little faster and a little easier, and getting the people out of pending and into an active status. I'm of the, you say we have 97% of the leaders compliant. I think the 3% who are not compliant are all from my area. And my group is, I've got 13 that are in various stages of progression all the way through.
Okay, so we know who to blame.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
great.
Yeah, I'll own it. But that certainly is an area where me in particular can use some assistance on how to get through some of the stuff a little faster and a little easier. And if there's some additional job aids.
Dangle that carrot.
We do now have our new Scouter onboarding team. So Michael Henderson is one of the members of that, and Marley Gross from Ancaster. So they are here to support group commissioners in getting volunteers active. So they're kind of that next level of poking to get people, moving in the right direction, and assisting them if they don't know how to access something through the learning center. And if you don't as well, Michael and Marley are their support person that can help guide them that way. And that's kind of where we're at for getting leaders active faster. Other than that is just, them being motivated to do so. But I can definitely look into getting someone on that can show us some inner workings of my scouts to access information faster and more efficiently. I think that's a great one. So I'd like to thank you all for joining us. And I just have one addition to this agenda. We send out bi-weekly emails to everybody. And I would like to know, because in the past couple of years, they just went to group commissioners. Now we're sending them out to everybody in the council. And I would like to get your perspective as a group commissioner on if it's more effective or less effective. So our perspective was, we do have at times group commissioners, you guys get busy and don't forward information. So now we're putting it directly in the scouter's hand. But are your scouters reading them? Are you reading them? You can be brutally honest. Like if you say no, I will not be offended. But we just want to know the best way to be sending out information. And if you think that us giving it to you and then you providing it to scouters through an email or through a group committee meeting is more effective, then we can look at changing that. So what are your thoughts on that?
I
Jane?
prefer that you send them out to everybody. It saves me.
Okay.
And then I can reiterate with them, knowing it's been sent out, that you need to focus on this particular part. Some of it may not have to do with you, but there is a part which is the Scouting 101, which I'm trying to really emphasize for our area, our group to get to. Because that's the only way I can get them to there is by poking them and making sure they read it. So if I know it's gone out, then I can just say, okay, it's been sent to you. If it's not in your junk mail, you need to read it and focus on those areas.
Awesome. Because we can see through the program we use what the open rate of email is. And our last one had a 48% open rate, which means, over half the scouters are not even opening the email. Like they're clicking delete before it even, gets any attention, right? So.
But what's the reason for doing that? So is the focus not coming enough from their group commissioner by saying, take a look at it? Or, oh, this doesn't pertain to me, so I'm just going to delete it.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm trying to figure out that root cause, right? So is it that they feel that nothing in there applies to them because they read one once and they didn't see something? Are they just getting too many emails? Would they prefer to get it in a different format? So
it could be that some are getting automatically diverted to a junk or other folder. I know myself, they were getting sent to my Google, Gmail address, and it was sending them to my other folder, or even on Outlook, it was sent to my other folder. So I don't always check that regularly. Whereas if it gets defaulted to our prime inbox, then it's more likely that they're seeing. So that could be why some of them aren't opening them.
For sure. So I guess in that aspect, as a group commissioner, if you can remind your scouters that it is coming, then they can check their junk folder and then go and adjust the settings of that email so that it doesn't get sent that direction would be helpful. Awesome. Well, if you guys think of anything else, please let us know. And as I said, talk to your scouters about future scouter calls, as well as if you have any other group commissioner training that you would like from us. Our next one is, are there any challenges that you and your group are facing that you need or want council support from, or, some tips and tricks from other group commissioners?
The only real challenge I'm facing at the moment is leadership within troop. We have two young scouters who joined us last year and have both gotten into jobs that have taken them away. And then we have two other scouters who are not returning, and a third who may be leaving after Christmas. Luckily, my daughter has stepped up, and my wife is helping out at camps and stuff as well. But it's making it challenging at times.
Does anybody have any thoughts on how we could help Thomas out? I know in our group at Fourth Caledonia, we have like 4 leaders for all 4 sections. So, you know, we run Scouts Adventures together, unfortunately. But that's not ideal, especially if you have large numbers in your sections.
Well, I'm fortunate that our troop is down a bit this year. We're only at about 15. So I'm able to run with just 2 or 3. And I do have another scouter who took last year off for health reasons, but is back. But again, he's intermittent. It's just looking for some more steady people.
For sure.
We had this problem at one stage a couple of years ago, and we did a sign up form for all the other scouters to take a shift every 4 to 6 weeks. You know, that they, so we with our Apple Day, we used signup.com, and it was excellent. It was a great way to get people to sign up to do stuff. I would ask your the other team members to put in an extra evening once every 6 weeks or whatever, and put that sign up sheet out to them and get a commitment for those dates.
That's a great idea. Thank you, Jennifer. Any other challenges across our council? Well, I guess, is there any way that your CK3 or support staff can help you that we are not already doing? I'll take silence as a, so you're doing a great job, council, and there's nothing more you could ever do. Okay, so as always, feedback is always welcome. So if you have, like I said, if you think of anything after the call, please send us an email. I'm always excited to read them. So thank you everybody for your time tonight, and we will see you. Oh, Jane, your hand's up. Thank you everybody, and have a great night, and we'll see you next month.
I came